Hey, Shalawam, Shalawam. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory be to the Heavenly Father and His Son by way of the Holy Spirit. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakwadash. Those are the true names of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah is the Father's true name. That means He is, He exists. Yahawashi is the Son's true name. That means He saves, He delivers. And Kakwadash is how you say a spirit holy. That's all in the Lashawan Kwadash, the holy language, the ancient Hebrew. Second of all, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well and sincerely taught us this truth. And Shalawam to the Lord Tofu elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. It's your brother Yeramiah Kazak back, I hope for another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, and Kakwadash. This one lesson will be entitled Emotions, a Demonic Battlefield. Okay? At the end of the day. So I want to start over where did Paul say this? Right here. 1 Corinthians 9. And I'll start at 16. For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel. All right, so understanding this, you don't get the glory, you don't get the rewards, you don't get all of those type of things at this point in time. And then with that being said, you're going to have feelings that come with this flesh. All right, because the flesh is a very emotional thing. It's something that you have to battle with emotions. You have to battle with these feelings. You got to battle with these thoughts. You know, the mind is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? So as you go and as you grow, you got to deal with however, you know, whatever demons is coming and speaking. And you got to rebuke these things and push them off. All right, and that goes into, hey, even your family, man. You trying to teach them and they don't want to listen. And you may love them, you know, because through your emotions. But ultimately, your true family is those that do the will of the Heavenly Father. So you have to battle with that, knowing that, hey, they just may not get it and they may not be worthy when that time comes. All right? But if you don't preach, it's woe unto you. It's destruction. You know? So you got to maintain yourself and keep pushing. Verse 17. For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me. Now let's get that word. Dispensation.
Strong's G 3622. Oikonomia.
Oikonomia. All right. The management, oversight, administration of others' property. The office of a manager or overseer. All right. Administration, specifically a religious economy, dispensation, stewardship. So you have to, you know, this is something that's given to you. This is not yours. You are actually chosen. You didn't choose it, right? So it's not up to you to go forth and decide if you're going to, you know, preach or teach. No, man, the fire is put in you and you got to go forth and do what you're obligated to do. So this ain't about, hey, I'm going to preach for 2 weeks and I'm going to quit. You know, and then I'm going to come back. You know, you got certain individuals that do that. Okay? What are we doing, man? We are told to exhort daily. All right? And our elders, they showcase, they go out every single day. They put up videos every single day. Right? Let's get that. Hebrews 3:13. But exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. So, putting it in another term is like, you want to stay in the spirit daily, or you might fall out. You know, because sin will creep in, the deceitfulness of sin. If you're not listening to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi in some form or fashion, then what are you listening to? What are you being inspired by today? What did you wake up and do? What counsel was you taking? You know? So you got to ask yourself these questions, man. So that you don't mess up this management, that dispensation of the gospel that you have been given. Everybody has been given a piece of this thing. You know, you come into this thing, you get the names, you get the understanding. You've been given a piece of it, and you've been told to carry on with it, because we labor in other men's labors. So now, you got to keep that going, or the race stops. That's why what? Habakkuk, all right, 2, we write it upon, plain upon table, so let's get that. The reader can run, because we all running a race. This is Habakkuk 2:2. And Yahawah answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Now let's get it in the NLT. Then the Lord said to me, write my answer plainly on tablets, so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. All right, so you gotta continue what has been done before you. It's not up to you to be like, yeah, I'm gonna change it up. I'm not gonna do it like this. It's not up to you, man. This thing is not up to you. All right? But you've been put in charge in the sense of a piece of whatever you have, and that's your lot. That's your talent. That's what was given to you. Don't bury that in the sand. 1 Corinthians 9:18. What is my reward then? Verily, that when I preach the gospel, I may make the gospel of Hamashiach without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel. Okay? The more you learn, the lower you keep yourself. All right? The more you are praised, the lower you become. All right? You stay down to earth. You don't want to get to a point where you feeling like you know so much, where you could just abuse or talk shit to people, etc., forgetting that you used to be at that point once in your life. That's a position of high-mindedness. You don't never want to get there. You want to remain meek. You want to remain humble. And you want to remain a worm. All right? Until we're brought up out of this thing. Our forefathers they called themselves worms. David, Jacob. All right? David was a king. Look at what he went through. Okay? Moses. In the position of a king. Look at how his congregation turned on him. Korah, Dathan, Abram, certain individuals. He had to deal with all these type of things. He was put in straits, difficult positions. You know? So we have no sovereignty in this position. This is not a rest. This is a position of difficulty. This is a position of, it's going to be hard battles, man, hard decisions. And what comes with those hard decisions? Emotions. And if you allow your emotions to cloud your judgment, you may make the wrong decision and not make the decision based upon the scriptures. This is what's going to hit a lot of individuals when this RFID CHIP is rolled out and made mandatory, which we see is coming very soon. You're going to be faced with the position or the decision of feeding your family. All right, trusting in, really going to the white man's grocery store, which you're going to have to get a chip to even go in there. Or faced with the decision to put faith in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Now, if you've been constantly putting faith in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, then you're going to be good. Because this is what you've been doing. But if you've been constantly putting faith in the white man to feed you and clothe you and take care of you and all of that, you took the jabby jab, you You stay at his hospital. You stay taking his doctrine. You stay drinking his wine, which is his doctrine, his understanding. Then you set yourself up to fall right in his trap, man. All right? So that reward, that's you're not going to receive that. So let's read it one more time. 1 Corinthians 9:18. What is my reward then? Verily, that when I preach the gospel, I may make the gospel of Hamashiach without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel. Samuel, look at Samuel. When he was handing over, leadership basically to Saul, he stood up and he said, Have I robbed anybody? Have I stolen from anybody? Have I manipulated my seat? They said, no, Samuel, no, you haven't. Nah, you was good. You did what you was supposed to do. All right? Nobody stood up and lied. Nobody stood up and said he did not, because he did what he's supposed to do. And they fear Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Now, as we see Saul taking over position, Yahawah told them through Samuel that the king was going to do all these type of things. He was going to take the best of your land, the best of your crops, the best of your gold, the best of your silver, the best of all your goods. And that's what he did. All right? But that's what they chose. So you want to stay in that position of being blameless. All right? You don't want to abuse your power. You look at, certain individuals, certain camps where they're extorting their members. Okay? They're using their congregation as a meal ticket. They're getting paid off their congregation. You should not be a millionaire, bro. What's up with that? You know what we talking about, man. Okay? That's crazy. So, are they abusing their power? Are you lording over men in a rigorous way? Our elders don't do that. Verse 19. For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all, that I might gain the more. You see? So this is a position of servitude. The same position that Yahawashi walked in. A position of servitude, going forth among the people, serving them, helping them. All right? Being a service to them. What's our service? As men of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, to come forth and teach this word. All right, to give this truth, to push it out. I got water on to give this living water to the public, man, to the people, to make it known. Let's get a precept. Because we not gonna hold our peace, right? Isaiah 62:6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, keep not silence. So that's what you're obligated to do. That's what you're supposed to do. It's not no, let me figure this out. Nah, it's straight commandment. Furthermore, let's go back a couple chapters. Isaiah 58:1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. Who we talking to? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The house of Jacob. Who falls under that? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right? If you are amongst the heathen and your bloodline goes back to Jacob, you fall under that as well. All right? So that's who this message is for. That's who that race of those that's running that race, that's who that's for. You can't even be involved. You didn't get a jersey at the beginning of the race. So how you just gonna jump in the race, in the middle of the race, as a heathen? You wasn't invited, man. You on the sideline watching. Okay? So that's just point blank period, man. So that reward is promised to the Israelites. All right. And the humble thing you have to do is learn how to be a servant. As we just read, let's read it one more time. 1 Corinthians 9:19. For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all, that I might gain the more. Now that comes with, as the topic is, emotions, a demonic battlefield. You have to rule over your emotions. You have to adjust. Everybody's not the same. People's going to be different. People's going to be on different levels, different personalities, different ways of understanding, different learning. Some people learn visually. Some people learn verbally. Some people learn by reading, So as a servant, you have to adjust, right? And you got to learn how to adapt and how to teach the best, okay? You got some people that's going to get it fast. Some people that's not going to get it at all. Some people that's going to get it slow. Some people that's going to scoff and mock. Hey, you got all of this. It's going to come. But you have to have a good emotional template to be able to take on this stuff. You can't jump into the field already pissed off. So you don't teach from a position of emotional instability, man. If you are emotionally unstable and you teaching and a Christian come up, you already know a Christian is emotionally unstable. I mean, they full of emotions. And then y'all get back and forth, it's going to be nothing but chaos. It's not going to be fruitful. All right? Somebody got to be the bigger person. And that needs to be you. Okay? Because you know the truth. It's no excuse. We should always be the bigger person. Okay? These individuals, they don't have no understanding. They don't have that living water. They don't know what's going on. This place, America, bro, it's about to be bombed, destroyed. It's about to be a purge, civil war. The economy is crashing. You understand what's going on? We understand what's going on. They don't understand these things. So we have to be the bigger person in this. They still caught up on a spell. They still drinking the wine. They still drunk. We just around a lot of drunk individuals, man. You go to work, your coworkers is drunk. All right? You go to family gatherings, your family members are drunk. Okay? If you not in this truth, if you not calling upon Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and you got the proper doctrine, you drunk. Verse 20, and unto the Jews I became as a Jew, that I might gain the Jews. To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law. To them that are without law, as without law, being not without law to power, but under the law to Hamashiach, that I might gain them that are without law. And that's talking about what? The Gentiles, meaning Israelite foreigners. Okay? So he adapted. He went to them and met them at their level. I'm not about to go and teach reincarnation to an individual that don't even understand that the name is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. What's the point of that? Me sounding smart or some shit? No. We got to come to your level. I got to meet you where you at. All right, let's get these names down first. Let's go through the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. Let's go through that. Let's get an understanding. It's 22 characters. Let's get that understood. It's no E's, O's, U's, V's, J's, F's in the language. Let's get that down first. Okay? We see this a lot of times, man. Individuals coming around, they asking questions. They just asking question after question after question after question. Did you process the first question that you asked? Do you got precepts and scriptures? Are you studying that? Just study that first. You don't got to get everything in one day. That's the mindset of a Babylonian. You want it all right now. No. Did we get this whole truth in one day? No. Are we constantly learning and growing? Yes, every single day, man. You should be improving and progressing to another level. All right? So don't come in here with the mindset trying to get everything in one day. Let's get that James. You need to be what? James 1:19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. All right? So you got to have that type of mindset when you coming. Brother got a precept, Acts 10:42, and it reads, and he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify that it is he which was ordained of Yahawah to be the judge of quick and dead. To him give all the prophets witness that through his name whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sins. And the people and whosoever is pertaining to what? The Israelites. Okay? The bloodline going back to Jacob. You know, but hey, like I said earlier, these individuals can't comprehend and understand these simple things. So we would have to break down and break that down to them so they can get it. I'm not going to move on from that point and jump straight into reincarnation, jump straight into multiple wives, jump straight into these type of things because they haven't processed that little bit of milk first. You know, so going back to 1 Corinthians 9, as Paul said, all right, 21, to them that are without law, as without law, being not without law to power, but under the law to Hamashiach, that I might gain them that are without law. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. So having the emotional stability to adjust yourself to the crowd that you're teaching. You recognize your crowd. You know how to recognize who's in front of you, man. You know how to recognize their level of education, their level of this truth. You can't look at everybody like they the same. That's like looking at people like they robots or something. No, man. So it's a thing called emotional maturity that our people really don't have too much. All right, let's get that term. Emotional maturity is the ability to understand, manage, and express your emotions in healthy, productive ways. It requires continuous self-awareness, allowing you to respond thoughtfully to life's stresses rather than reacting impulsively. Don't just lash out. Don't just cuss out people. Okay? Identify and be the bigger person, man. We are what? Ambassadors of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. You know? It's a time and place for everything. All right? So, as you grow in this truth, man, you remember them first years. Yeah, them first years, you might be a little wild, but as you grow and you build yourself up, you should have more emotional maturity. Okay? Hey, Shalawam to my brother GMS Noble Warrior, the brother of Dark Boy. That brother has very good emotional maturity. Far better than me. You know? That brother got patience. You know, I applaud that brother for having much patience. That's funny that he just came in here because that's the spirit. You know what I'm saying? So, understanding that, I look at certain brothers that have that. You know, and you try to take a page out of their book to grow, because that's what you got to grow on. It's you examining your flaws and building upon that. I need to have more patience. I need to have a better way of dealing with things. So let's read that one more time. Emotional maturity is the ability to understand, manage, and express your emotions in healthy, productive ways. Not allowing somebody that angers you to cause you to just cuss them out. To cause you to just, but controlling your emotions and controlling your words and controlling your spirit to where, hey, bro, you just ain't gonna get it I just, you can step. All right. I don't got to lash out. So going back, we're going to finish this chapter up and we'll be done. 1 Corinthians 9, and let's read 22 again. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. Okay, let me go back and get the water. Okay, but so an individual that's been calling on Jesus for what, 30 years, 40 years, they're weak. They're caught under a spell. You analyzing that. You're peeping that. It's going to be hard for them to come up out of this because that's all they knew. So I'm going to jump down to their level and I'm going to try to break it down to a way that they can understand it. That's going back to that Habakkuk 2:2, making it plain upon tables. I'm trying to push it out in a way that they can comprehend. Not trying to be deep, not trying to be over their head, and not trying to, So I want to meet you there because I want you to get it. I want you to get it. That's what we want. We don't want people to come up here and not get it. We want you to get it. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi wants to give you the kingdom. He says that. He wants to give you the kingdom. He's not trying to hold it from you. He wants you to get it. But you got to subdue your own understanding, man. All right, let's get that real quick. We not sitting up here like the Christians trying to hold back and hold hostage the truth or whoever, man. This is 2 Esdras 14:34. Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy. So you got to subdue yourself, man. Your own understanding. Okay? Keeping it going. Back to 1 Corinthians 9:23. And this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you. That's why to the weak, I'm making myself weak. I'm adjusting to them so I can be a partaker with them. As Yahawashi was among the people. Yahawashi knew everything about everybody, bro. But he still congregated and functioned among the people. Knowing everything about everybody. You understand? So he was not high-minded. But he knew far more than you. You understand the position that he was holding? You got to think about that. And think of how he carried himself. And we gotta take from that. Verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that you may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. That's what? That's another word for patience. You adjusting yourself. You have an emotional maturity. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, not as uncertainty, so fight. I, not as one that beateth the air. We not fighting for no reason. We not Will Smith. I hate him, man. I hate him. Nah. When we swinging and we cutting and we doing what we supposed to do, it's with much intention. It's with a high purpose. It's thought out. It's not in haste. We're not moving in haste. Everything we do is purposeful. We've been given a recipe. We saw our elders move with the same recipe. They're moving with the same recipe. It's a certain way to do things. What is that called? That's called order. Right? We're not out here looking chaotic. We're not getting in debates and arguing matches and yelling matches and shouting matches. That's not fruitful. Who am I to debate with a Christian, bro? What does a Christian know more than me? Nothing. Nothing at all. You understand? That's like me sitting here arguing with a 3-year-old child. How I look? I look stupid. No, that's my sucker. No, it's my sucker. No, that's my sucker. No. Come on, man. So we carry ourselves to a certain level, a certain degree, a certain level of class that's far above these individuals, man. But we still use the world and we don't abuse the world. We still maintain ourselves peaceful among all men. Knowing that we have this truth, we play the bigger person. Always. Last verse, and I'm up out of here. Verse 27. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So ultimately, getting these emotions under check, getting this body in subjection, training and working with this flesh and getting it to where you need to be. Certain flaws, certain sins that you was committing, you cutting them off. You got them under subjection. You got them under control. Now you can move and walk in a better sense, and your spirit is more pure. We all have to be pure going into the chariots. So all that BS that you was on, that has to be done, going away with. You cannot be defiled. You have to be a virgin, meaning in doctrine. All right? Having that true understanding. No more wine of Babylon, but you have the living water now. Okay? So, hey, man, I pray this was edifying to the flock. I got to go. Hey, the water Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, everybody tuned in. Giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, and Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone that rule well and teach well and sincerely taught us this truth. Shalawam, shalawam, as there always. Kwam Yasharahla and abide babal. Emotional maturity. All right? That's the word, man. Emotional maturity. Shalawam, shalawam.